Monsieur le Président. Merci à nos invités.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thanks to our witnesses. My first question is for Mr. Youssef. I believe that the rates are insurance rates vary for smokers and non-smokers in the workplace, and I think it's up to the employee to self-identify as a smoker or non-smoker. So the insurance rates are favorable to the employer as well. Do you think it might be worthwhile if the insurers were to ask if your employee is a smoker of cannabis, that the insurance rates might go up for those who, in fact, have self-identified as being users of cannabis? And will that be absorbed by the employer, the employee, or both?
First of all, I think it's a violation of workers' privacy and the Canada privacy law in this country. I don't think any employer has the right to ask that question. But at the end of the day, certainly as I'm an employer in regard to my employees in the CLC, I don't ask my employees that question because I believe it's a fundamental violation. As a matter of fact, I think I'll be before the Human Rights Commission defending us in terms of violating their privacy to what they do outside of my workplace. What they do within our workplace, of course, we have some control over. And of course, it is fair to me to ask somebody if I believe that they're impaired coming to work. I have a right to ask them that question if I believe that's the situation. But certainly, it's not for me as an employer to ask an employee whether or not what their behavior might be outside of the workplace.
Mais vous savez, Monsieur Youssef,
But you are aware, sir, that many insurance companies will be asking that question to the policy holder. I was a supervisor within an insurance company, and if someone says they don't smoke, their insurance rates are lower. Now, my next question will be for Mr. Moore. The Canadian government stated that it will proportion a part of the tax gathered from the sale of cannabis to insist on implementing some of the provisions of this, particularly education programs. Do employers have sufficient support from the government in order to ensure the safety of workers, of course, but those who are consumers of marijuana and for those who work around them?
Do employers have sufficient support from the government? Excuse me. That's a very good question, and I don't have a very good answer for you on it. Certainly, my organization, the Canadian Centre for Occupational Health and Safety, we receive a certain amount of funding from the federal government, about 50% of our operating budget, and from within that, we put a lot of educational materials together, a lot of programs for employers, including those around impairment and cannabis. We don't get direct funding from the government to do that. We will certainly also go to specific government departments. We have, for example, worked with Health Canada in the past when WHMIS, Workplace Hazardous Materials Information System, was revised in 2015 and received funding from them for developing public education programs. We may be able to do something similar around cannabis, but at the moment we're doing things on our own from within our own budget.
merci beaucoup, Monsieur Moore. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr.